Tommy V in Michigan. He was on fire this morning.
Okay, thank you, Tommy V in Michigan. Yes, sir. If you share my prayers.
Tommy V's on. Yeah, we'll jump over there.
Tommy V doing great stuff over there. Mr. Reagan, Mr. Bright, can you guys hear me?
I can hear you, Judge. Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay.
Mr. Bright, you're on mute and your camera's off. So whenever you're ready, just turn that on and I'll have you ready to go. All right. This is State of Michigan versus Ryan Bright, case 24L0168SM. Today is the date set for an arraignment on the warrant. Can I have appearances, please?
Good morning, Your Honor. Lauren Stassi on behalf of the people, P67104.
Judge, may it please this honorable court, Reagan on Mr. Ryan Bright, who's appearing via Zoom from the county jail.
All right, thank you, Mr. Reagan. Mr. Bright, could you state your name for the record, please?
Ryan Bright.
All right, thank you, Mr. Bright. Mr. Reagan, how do you wish to proceed on the warrant?
Judge, I'd ask the court to recall the warrant, set the capias aside. Mr. Bright is here today, Judge. If I could explain to the court some of what we feel that it's happening in terms of why there was a capias last time. I think there was some confusion. There was another case, Judge in Romulus, I think that was dismissed. It came, my understanding, out of the same transaction or occurrence, Judge. I'm not 100% sure, but that's Mr. Bright's understanding. He's had a lot going on with a lot of court dates. He had a tether on it one time, Judge, for a case that got dismissed. He has a cell phone, Judge, that's been going in and out. It just got his father's number, Judge. So now I have another number outside of his that I can contact him on as well. He just got a new phone, Judge. So I'm getting that information. So there should be no reason that Mr. Bright ever misses court in terms of being in front of your honor, Judge. So with that said, Judge, I'd ask the court to reinstate his original bond. We're going to be in contact on a regular basis and trying to get these matters resolved. I know there was an issue last time of some contact, Judge, with some emails. Now, we did figure out that my client was not directly calling, was not directly contacting Mr. Zellman. He did not do that. There was allegedly some emails that were sent to court, to other individuals that did not, violate, in my opinion, did not violate any bond condition at that particular time. But I would ask the court to tell Mr. Bright to, just have no contact with anybody. But at the same time, Judge, he has a right, to do certain things, Judge. I don't know how the court's looking at it. If he has a case, a civil case, he wants to file some paperwork, how do you do that? Obviously, Judge, he has to, walk a fine line, but he still has certain rights, Judge. He still has certain rights that he has, Judge. And I don't want to infringe upon those rights at all. But I don't think in any way, shape, or form violated the bond condition because he didn't have any contact with Mr. Zellnick. He didn't try to contact Mr. Zellnick. So I'm asking the court to reinstate his personal bond. He's going to be at all court dates, and we're going to try to get this matter resolved, Judge, as soon as we can.
All right, Ms. Narcessian.
Your Honor, I'm asking for a remand. This defendant has shown a willful disregard for the court's order because the court's order wasn't just against Mr. Zellnick. It was against the court. to stay away from the court and stop harassing the court also, if I recall correctly. But what also his actions show, I would argue that his felony resisting obstructing police officers indicates flight, indicates his unwillingness to deal with the matters at hand as they were trying to arrest him, those officers trying to arrest him on the warrant for the stalking matter. The Romulus matters are also, I believe that those were also stalking matters that were dismissed in the hopes of resolving these other issues. Now, should they have been dismissed at the time that they were? That's not for me to comment on. But what this defendant has shown is that—
Wait, were they dismissed on motion of the people or were they dismissed on the court?
I believe that they were dismissed on the motion of the people.
Okay.
Now, this defendant, though, he has repeatedly been contacting the mayor's department, different court personnel, mentioning Mr. Zelenak, which is just a way to circumvent the direct orders of the court, but still threaten and place a fear in Mr. Zelenak that this defendant is still obsessed with him. And then I would argue that this defendant, members of the Lincoln Park councilwoman had to, and multiple other individuals, including, but not limited to, Tracy Dupree, Eric Cesar, Carla Salcido, Carrie Caher, Lillian Ross, Patricia Luco, all these individuals were advised to make police reports, given that the defendant even reached out to them just this Father's Day with a photo of his kid saying, here are some pictures of the little girl you took from. I would tell you guys to stay safe out there, but karma doesn't care. In this day and age in which active shooters are an everyday occurrence, this defendant's actions are rising to a level of which the city of Lincoln Park's administrative personnel, along with Mr. Zelenak, are all worried about their safety. This defendant's actions are becoming erratic and troublesome, given that he is consistently and continuously harassing individuals. And people argue that he's a danger to the community at this point.
Judge, just so in response, Judge, you know, I don't know, as the court has asked about, you know, other charges that are out here. They had 2 other charges in Romulus, and I'm like Mr. Narcessi, I don't want to speak on those because I don't know, you know, what happened exactly. I just know they were dismissed. You know, and I think it's all in context, Judge. I know that, you know, he has certain rights, and we all, as public officials and or public figures, you know, deal with certain things, deal with individuals that, you know, may not agree with what we do, how we do it, and they express themselves to us. I've had it many times. People say certain things. You know, I know the court has as well, Judge. But I just think, like you said, it's in the way in which you do it. You know, I don't know if it's risen to the level of an harassment because somebody doesn't like what you say. Now, and I apologize, Mr. Narcessi, I didn't hear exactly because it was going in and out in terms of, I heard you say about some pictures on Sunday that were sent to certain council folks about with kids, but I couldn't hear everything. And I apologize to you, Mr. Narcessi. But, you know, my thing is, you know, if he's ordered not to do that by the court, then that's what he should not do. I don't, you know, necessarily know in my eyes, was he told that he couldn't do that? You know, he was told that he cannot contact Mr. Zelenak in any way, shape, or form. So he hasn't done that, Your Honor. So I think he abides by that. And I understand, you know, how we can look at things and think that they are being circumvented when you talk to other folks and may mention a person. But again, that's not necessarily a violation. If the court is specific in what it wants Mr. Bright to do, he's going to do it. Judge, we talked about that. He wants to get back to his life. He just wants, you know, he wants to be able to live his life and have justice for himself, Judge. Doesn't want to hurt anybody, doesn't want to, you know, cause any issues. He just wants justice, for himself. That's all he wants. But I do understand there's certain procedures, and whatever the court tells him to do, he's going to do it, Judge. If he says, don't contact this person, he's not going to contact him. Don't do this, he's not going to do it. So, you know, that's where we are, Judge. I don't think he's a threat. I think that, you know, there have been some things that have happened, Judge. Cases dismissed. cases, that are still being pursued. But I think that it's got to play itself out in court, Your Honor. So I wouldn't ask you to remand him. I'd ask for the personal bond, whatever conditions the court wishes to impose. But I don't think he needs to be incarcerated, Judge, at this time.
And Your Honor, I did receive some information. Those cases in Romulus were dismissed for apparently, and I quote, judicial economy without prejudice. And those were dismissed in the hopes of just moving forward with these other matters.
All right, Mr. Bright, I know you had your hand up. Do you want to speak to your attorney in private?
Yes, please. Thank you.
All right, 1 second.
A few moments later.
Okay, Mr. Reagan, do you have anything further?
Absolutely, Judge. I think that one of the biggest things I want to say, Mr. Bright's a father, like many folks. And, Father's Day, I think this year was emotional, for him, because he's in the process. He wants to try to get his daughter back. He wants to get, custody of his daughter. And, and just talking to him, he has not a threatening bone, according to him, in his body. That's not any intent. When you talk about the word karma, I think it's more of a guilt trip. And I want to use those words, guilt trip. And I think that's important, not a threat. Not a threat. And I think that, he might have been emotional that day, and sent some things or said some things based on guilt, not based on any type of threat or harm or wanting to do harm to anyone whatsoever. But he's a father. It was Father's Day. It gets emotional. Now, is that breaking the law? Absolutely not. Judge, but sending a letter to an individual. The city council people hire the prosecutors. And I think that it's important. Mr. Bright just wants justice, Judge. He's in a city where nobody will talk to him because of the cases, the conflict thing. And he has no one, that he can turn to try to help him get, his situation resolved with his child or with anything. And it's frustrating, Judge. But is he rising to the level of threatening to hurt someone? No, absolutely not. He says that, and that is something that, he's very adamant about. Doesn't have any history of violence. That's not what he does. That's not what he wants to do. He just wants to get his daughter. He wants to have his daughter. And he's frustrated a little bit, Judge, but not to the level of any type of violence or threats. That's not what he's about. That's not what he wants to do. So I would just point that out to the court, Judge. I think that's important, Your Honor. So I'm asking the court to reduce his bond to a personal bond, and whatever conditions the court instructed him to do, he'll abide by. He's already said that. He wants to try to put all this behind him, Judge. He wants to, he's asked for speedy trials. He's asked for certain situations. He wants to try to get this stuff behind him so he can move forward with his life, Judge. That's all he wants.
We wouldn't even be here today for the stalking charge if those threats were incredible and serious enough that the people filed charges of stalking on behalf of the complaining witness, Mr. Ed Zelenak. Those threats include threats involving his own daughter, who is an adult and also a city attorney, not just against Mr. Zelenak, but his daughter. And then I would also add that the actions of this defendant this weekend resulted in 4 more new cases against him out of Lincoln Park, which will most likely have to come down here.
So let me ask this, and anybody that knows this can answer it, because I'm a little confused. Just because this goes, to a lot of different districts. At some point, there was a court order to have no contact with city or government employees. Was that Southgate or was that Lincoln Park?
Lincoln Park.
Okay. Ms. Narcessi and the folks that you're alleging had contact or were sending emails to by Mr. Bright, were those Lincoln Park folks or were those Southgate folks?
Lincoln Park. I believe that all our matters that we've been dealing with are out of Lincoln Park, including the resisting and obstructing police officers.
The matters that were pending in Romulus, those were dismissed by the people?
I believe so, yes.
Before anything else was resolved?
Yes, and I can't speak to whether or not I think that was a good decision, but they can be reinstated. They were dismissed without prejudice. I'm probably going to be asking that they be reinstated, to be honest. They are city matters. They're not county matters.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Judge,
I
can
was saying this. Yeah, what you got, Mr. Reagan?
I just want a point of clarification about, the order, the quote, no contact. Was it with court employees?
There was a previous order, even before my last order, saying no contact with city employees. I mean, isn't that the whole reason we're here? What are we doing? I mean, it's just games at this point. We're really just playing games here. I want to say this, Mr. Bright, I didn't take that last email to be a threat. I know it was couched at that, but not with somebody's safety. I don't take that as a threat. But I'm more concerned with one, your continued contact with Lincoln Park government employees when you know that this is the only reason that we're here. This is the only reason that we're here. And you can't abide by that order. I mean, we're just playing games here. We're playing games. Yes, Mr. Bright.
So who would I talk to? To get the matter resolved is the issue.
You got to resolve this matter first. Your criminal cases. What are we doing?
But I feel like I should be able to go to the courthouse. I feel like I should be able to go to city council and express myself. They're saying, no, you can't do that. And then I get
So this is where I'm at. Bond is I'm denying bond for violation of my order and of the previous orders. You can't do this right now. And the only reason that we're still here is because I tried to let you resolve these matters in the least restrictive way, but I see that I can't do that anymore.
Judge,
I can't. I can't do it. I'm going to be back here again. You missed my court date. And all this talk about new phones and cases being dismissed. I put a tether on the other case that got bound over to circuit court. There's still a tether on that matter. That hasn't changed. I adjourned this case to try to contact you so I didn't have to go through these measures to remand you. But we had to arrest you, or somebody had to arrest you. And now I get indications on a non-court or a non-government day, it's a Sunday, emails, to more Lincoln Park officials. Absolutely not. I'm gonna set a pretrial in 2 weeks. Bond is denied. Today is what? June 18th. This matter is going to be adjourned. We'll set another pretrial date, July 9th, 2024 at 8:30. Yes, Mr. Bright.
Am I ever going to get a trial to get this resolved?
Yeah, next date we're getting a trial scheduled together.
Judge, Judge, I'm sorry, I didn't get what he said.
Oh, he asked, is he going to set a trial date to get this matter resolved?
Okay.
trial.
Yeah, let's stop wasting time. I'm ready, one way or another. I should say it's not my case. It's Judge McConaughey's, but I'll be here on the 9th. I think I'm still on this docket. But we'll see you on the 9th.
Thank you, Judge.
That concludes the hearing.